I'm just going to ignore you fuckers because there's not enough of you to count. Alright, I'm going to face this lot. This is a funny night. I've never been like on after someone who's like cheated. Do you know what I mean? Like having cancer, that's just fucking. You've got to laugh then, haven't you? You know what I mean? That's just definitely making it easier. Anyway, sorry for those of you who've seen me before, but I have invited someone who hasn't, so I'm just doing this set for them. Alright. I don't know if you've heard this like motivational talk. They say dress for the job you want. Yeah. Thing is, I don't aspire to work. It's actually my boss I bought just to make it clear to her. You know, like, so I've taken up, well, I started dressing like a rich widow, right? But my husband didn't like it. But the joke's on him, because he doesn't exist. No, I didn't want a job, so I've taken up nudism, just to be on the safe side. That's how I found out that women taking off their clothes, it's just another job. The thing is, not only do I not aspire to work, I don't even aspire to be in working class. My dad was in prison when I was born, and I'm fairly sure that's how you become a member of the criminal underclass. Or that, and the crime, obviously. That'll do it. No, it's a fun story, actually. I lost my dad recently. That's not the fun bit. Don't worry. No, my dad was actually born in a bucket in a concentration camp. Again, it's not the fun bit. But I think we can agree that the bucket added some levity, which we needed, given the subject matter. But he actually came to this country as a refugee, right? And he would probably have liked me to have dressed legally. But only because it was the last legal thing he did. Right? He thrived here though, he thrived so much in education, he graduated straight to Borstal. And from there he went straight to prison and didn't work another day after that. And that's how I know he didn't come here to steal anyone's job. He didn't aspire to work. Now, as I say, I lost him recently. Obviously, metaphorically speaking, it's quite hard to lose someone who wears an ankle tag. It turns out it's true what they say though, crime doesn't pay, because all I inherited was 2 burner phones and a fake ID. Would have been nice if any of them had been in credit. Now, my dad acclimatised to the UK culture really well. He voted for Brexit and became a massive racist. And I think we can all agree there's nothing more British than that. The thing is, it's problematic, you know? It's not often you can say that your family story is a triumph for both diversity and racism at the same time. Awkward. The thing is, he's not even the most problematic member of my family. Like my mum, for example, still very much alive. She loves that joke, don't worry. No, the reason it's problematic is because she owns 2 houses. Rude. I've moved in and I'm sort of like trying to reclaim it one brick at a time, just leaving them on the stairs. No, the most problematic thing about my mum is that she's got a more successful love life than I have. So my mum is 78 and her fella is 41. You're right, that's not a joke. She's just a fucking legend. The problem with that though is that if I want to have a successful relationship as that, I've got to wait for those kids to finish primary school. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? Like, I mean, there's cougering too far when your nickname is the pedo. You know what I mean? She's taking it a bit far. So I've sort of decided that, you know, I can't beat her at that game. So I started dating an older fella. And, you know, a lot of my previous relationships have been quite problematic, but this one is going really well. Obviously, I have to say that because he's here. But, you know, there's some pros and cons of dating an older fella. For example, the life insurance policy is a bit more expensive, but much more likely to pay out. There's that. No, the thing is that sometimes I can't always tell, like, if he's coming or going. You know? And it gets you to wondering, like, how many orgasms is it acceptable to have died before that becomes necrophilia? Does anyone know? No, it's just me asking these questions. Cool. No, like, so before I met him, I had a lot of problems with my love life. So it won't surprise you to know, female stand-up on late on a Friday night, still sober, probably the only sober person in the room. I'm divorced. But it's good. I bumped into my ex-husband recently, and it turned out he told me he'd been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So I think we can say that it was probably him. But I was just happy for him that he finally developed a personality. Good for you. But you know, like how they say, like all the best men are either gay or married. Turns out, double down on that is not, in fact, the best of both worlds. Don't recommend marrying a gay man. Didn't work for me. Obviously, if you're also a gay man, fine, happy with that. That works. But then after that, I had a relationship. It was quite sad actually. He dumped me. Okay, thanks, Monday. Cool. It's fine. It was 2.5 years ago. But it was worse than that. He actually made me homeless. But the worst bit was, he was my drug dealer. It was tough, man, it was tough. And I'm not bitter, but I am still doing fairly horrible material about him 2.5 years later, so you make up your own mind, you know, don't worry. Like, don't worry, he won't see it. He hasn't subscribed to my YouTube channel. It doesn't matter how many times I send him the link. And it's annoying because I have fucked all 14 of the other subscribers. Just feels like a list he should be on, you know what I mean? But he was a problematic guy. Like, he used to do this thing where when a woman came on the TV, he'd be like, You know what she needs? She needs a good scene too. And I used to think it was very sexist. But I have recently had a good scene too, thanks. I've got to admit, there's something in it, do you know what I mean? Like, I am not bitter anymore. It's actually life-changing. No, he was one of those guys, I don't know if you know the ones, you will now, because there's been a couple on the stage this evening. You know those 5'7" guys? You know the ones I mean? Right? The ones that are 5'5", yeah, those guys. Like, he used to say to me, like, you're not very good at spatial, babes. And I'd be like, honey, like I'm 5'2". If I put on a 3-inch heel and I'm looking you straight in the eye, that's fucking maths, mate. I know how tall you are. Like, it's funny. Anyway, like, this is my favourite bit. So, like, he had these really, really tiny balls. And like, the thing is, I'm so glad I invited my boss. I just can't emphasise how much that adds to this story. Like, the joy for me. But like, the thing is, like, they were like baby balls, you know, like absolute baby balls. And I really liked it. Like, it didn't matter what he did, I could still breathe. I was worried. Like, I was like, is it okay that you like these tiny baby balls? Could you be a pedo? So I checked. It's a loophole. It's a bit like a shaved fanny. As long as it's on an adult. We knew that, right? It's fine. And it's funny because, like, speaking of shaved fannies, so like, I'm a big fan of the 70s math, right? It's not really a sartorial choice. I'm just too fat to shave it. And it's a really funny story because that's how I met Sham, as those of you who know him. Obviously he runs a barber's, so like, I always thought the skill set you needed was like people who used to, you know, a cutthroat razor and an Adam's apple. That is the experience, that's the experience level I need for someone who's going to give me a shave, right? And that's how I got banned from all the barbers in Margate. Apparently it's not a spectator sport, who knew? But Sham helped me out, so that's how my comedy career started. But no, it's fine. So I thought I'd wait to get on stage until all of my opinions were quite problematic. So for example, I used to be a feminist. but I've got to be honest, it didn't work out for me. Like, they promised us a lot of things. One of the first ones was like financial freedom. I was like, Daddy, I don't want the proceeds of crime. I'm gonna go and get myself some financial freedom. They meant a job, didn't they? And then the other big one, which I'll be honest was more of the attraction, was sexual liberation. And in your 20s, that's really exciting. But in your 40s, it's just another job. And at this point, I'm struggling to find a voluntary position, you know what I mean? But as I say, I have met a man, my life's turned round, so I'm going to give you a little bit of dating tips. Like, there's a lot of guys in my cohort just showing 2/3 of their head on the apps. I think they might be bald. But like, I tried a couple of things to help me meet a man, and I just thought I'd pass on my expertise, really. So like, the first one is like, if you want to catch a dick in your 40s, just massively lower the standard. And if you're younger than that and you're thinking, no, I've got time, wait, just don't risk it. Just lower them now, because it's easier and quicker, and you will get there in the end, you know? It's all good. But also, like, the other thing I tried is I thought to myself, you know what? Your looks are fading. Maybe it's time to develop a personality. Yeah, don't bother with that. Like, they're really only interested in your tits. It's cheaper. I just got myself some new tits and really worked. But also, it really didn't work for me, because it turns out I'm a massive cunt.